Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. My dear brothers and sisters, have you ever noticed that the more available you are, the less people seem to value you? You respond quickly, you give your time, you try to help everyone, yet slowly people begin to take you for granted. Your kindness becomes expected, your presence becomes ordinary, your effort becomes unnoticed. And one day you quietly ask yourself, why do people not respect me the way they used to? The reality is powerful. When you are always available, people stop realizing your worth. Islam teaches us kindness, but Islam also teaches dignity. You were not created to be used. You were not created to be constantly exhausted. You were not created to live without boundaries. The Prophet ﷺ showed us balance in every part of life. Balance in time, balance in relationships, and balance in priorities. Today, we will understand 5 powerful lessons that will help you protect your time, protect your peace, and protect your respect. Because when you learn to value yourself, people begin to value you too. 1, constant availability reduces your value. My dear brothers and sisters, when something is always available, people slowly stop valuing it. This is not because people are intentionally disrespectful, but because human nature begins to take constant access for granted. When your time is always open for everyone, when you respond instantly to every message, when you are ready to adjust your plans for anyone at any moment, people begin to assume that your time is not very important. They start believing that you have no priorities, no responsibilities, and no personal boundaries. Gradually, the respect that should naturally exist begins to decrease, not because you are not a good person, but because you have unintentionally taught others that your time is always easily accessible. In this world, things that are rare are considered valuable. Gold is precious because it is limited. Diamonds are admired because they are not easily found. Even opportunities are respected when they are not always available. When something is constantly present without any limits, people unconsciously begin to overlook its importance. The same principle applies to our time and attention. If you are always available, people stop appreciating your presence. Your time becomes ordinary in their eyes, even though in reality it is one of the greatest blessings given by Allah. Many people believe that always being available makes them kind, generous, and supportive. Indeed, helping others is a beautiful quality, and Islam encourages compassion. However, constantly neglecting your own priorities in order to please everyone is not wisdom. When a person is always responding immediately, always adjusting their schedule for others, always saying yes even when they feel tired, they slowly begin to lose control over their own life. Their day becomes filled with the expectations of others, and their own goals are left behind. The Prophet ﷺ reminded us about the importance of time. Among the greatest losses in life is wasting the blessings that Allah has given us. 2 blessings that many people do not appreciate properly are health and free time. Time is not something small. Time is life itself. Every moment that passes will never return again. When we give our time without wisdom, we are giving away a part of our life that cannot be replaced. Sometimes people feel proud that they are always available for everyone, but later they feel exhausted, emotionally drained, and unappreciated. This happens because their time is being used without balance. Islam teaches moderation. Islam teaches responsibility. Islam teaches that every blessing has a right. Your family has a right over you. Your body has a right over you. Your mind has a right over you. Your worship has a right over you. If all your time is given to people without any limits, then these important rights begin to suffer. Being constantly available also creates an unhealthy expectation in the minds of others. When people become used to your immediate response, they begin to expect it every time. If one day you are busy and you respond late, they may feel upset even though you did nothing wrong. This happens because a pattern was created where your time was always open. When you teach people that your time has no boundaries, they begin to rely on that pattern, and breaking that pattern becomes difficult. Respect for your time begins with you. If you treat your time as valuable, others will begin to see it as valuable. When you organize your priorities, when you respond with balance, when you show that your time has purpose, people naturally start respecting it. This does not mean becoming distant or harsh. It means becoming balanced and wise. It means understanding that your time is an amana from Allah, and every amana must be protected with care. When you respect your time, you also improve your quality of life. You are able to focus better on your goals. You are able to give proper attention to your family. You are able to invest in your growth. You are able to strengthen your relationship with Allah. Your time becomes more meaningful because it is not scattered in every direction. Remember, being constantly available does not increase your importance. Often, it slowly decreases it. But when you value your time, when you create healthy limits, when you understand that your presence should have purpose, people begin to appreciate you more. They begin to respect your priorities, and your words begin to carry more weight. Protect your time with wisdom, because time once lost never returns. When you start respecting your time, others will begin respecting it too. Two, not everyone deserves access to you. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the biggest reasons people feel emotionally exhausted today is because they allow everyone to have full access to their time, attention, and energy. They feel that being a good person means always being reachable, always being ready to listen, always being ready to help, even when their own heart feels tired. They fear that if they become less available, people may think they have changed, or people may become upset with them. Because of this fear, they continue giving their time without thinking about whether it is being valued or not. Islam teaches kindness, generosity, and compassion, but Islam also teaches wisdom. Not every person who comes into your life deserves the same level of closeness. Not every person deserves the same amount of your time. Not every conversation deserves your full emotional energy. Balance is part of faith. Protecting your peace is not selfishness. It is understanding the responsibility you have towards your own heart. Sometimes people enter your life only when they need something. They remember you when they have a problem. They contact you when they feel lonely. They seek your advice when they are confused. But when you need support, they are not present. When you need understanding, they are busy. When you need kindness, they are silent. This imbalance slowly creates emotional fatigue. You begin to feel used, but you do not say anything because you do not want to hurt anyone's feelings. Being a good person does not mean allowing yourself to be taken for granted. Islam does not teach us to become weak. Islam teaches dignity. Islam teaches that a believer has honor. When a person allows everyone to enter their life without limits, they open the door for disappointment. Not everyone has pure intentions. Not everyone understands your value. Not everyone respects your boundaries unless you make those boundaries clear. Allah does not place burden on a soul beyond what it can bear. This means you are not responsible for solving every problem you hear. You are not responsible for fixing every situation around you. You are not required to sacrifice your peace for every person who asks for your time. There is a difference between helping sincerely and losing yourself completely. Wisdom is knowing where to draw the line. Many people say yes to everything because they fear losing relationships. They fear that if they refuse, people may leave them. But the reality is that healthy relationships do not depend on constant availability. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect. When someone truly values you, they understand that you also have responsibilities, commitments, and priorities. They do not expect unlimited access to your life. Access to your time is a privilege, not an obligation. When you give unlimited access to everyone, people begin to treat your presence as something ordinary. But when you become selective with your time, your presence gains importance. People begin to appreciate the moments they spend with you because they understand that your time is meaningful. Learning to say no politely is an important skill. Saying no does not mean being rude. Saying no does not mean being arrogant. Saying no means you understand your limits. Saying no means you are protecting your responsibilities. Saying no means you are respecting the balance that Allah wants for you. Sometimes a respectful refusal protects your peace more than an uncomfortable agreement. Your emotional energy is limited. If you give it to everyone, you will have nothing left for yourself. You will feel constantly tired. You will feel mentally distracted. You will feel overwhelmed. Protecting your energy allows you to give your best where it truly matters. It allows you to be fully present with your family. It allows you to focus properly on your work. It allows you to worship Allah with a peaceful heart. When every person has equal access to you, your priorities become unclear, important responsibilities start mixing with unnecessary distractions, your focus becomes scattered, your day becomes controlled by the demands of others instead of your own purpose. Over time, this creates frustration because deep inside you feel that your life is not moving in the direction you want. Not everyone needs detailed explanations about your choices. Not everyone needs constant updates about your time. Some matters should remain private. Some decisions should remain personal. Protecting your personal space helps you maintain clarity and peace. It allows you to think without pressure and act with confidence. When you begin to limit unnecessary access, something beautiful happens. Your mind becomes calmer, your heart becomes lighter, your decisions become clearer. You begin to notice that many things that once felt urgent were never truly important. You begin to see how much time was being consumed by matters that did not add real value to your life. Choosing who deserves your time is part of maturity. It shows that you understand the importance of balance. It shows that you understand the value of your energy. It shows that you are not living only to meet the expectations of people, but to fulfill the purpose that Allah has given you. Always remember that protecting your peace does not mean you stop being kind. It means you become wise with your kindness. It means you help where it truly benefits. It means you give time where it truly matters. It means you maintain dignity while still having a soft heart. When you respect your limits, others begin to respect them too. When you value your time, others begin to see its value. When you become selective with access, your presence becomes more meaningful. Your life becomes more peaceful, not because people disappeared, but because unnecessary pressure disappeared. Protect your peace, protect your focus, and protect the energy that Allah has entrusted to you. 3. Boundaries. Protect your peace. My dear brothers and sisters, many people today feel mentally tired, emotionally overwhelmed, and spiritually distracted, not because they have too many responsibilities, but because they have no boundaries. They allow everyone to enter their time whenever they want. They allow every message to interrupt their focus. They allow every opinion to disturb their emotions. Slowly, their mind becomes crowded, their heart becomes heavy, and their peace begins to disappear. A person without boundaries lives according to the expectations of others. Their schedule is controlled by notifications. Their mood is affected by people's reactions. Their decisions are influenced by fear of disappointing others. Over time, they begin to feel that their life is not truly their own. They feel busy all the time, yet they do not feel satisfied. They feel surrounded by people, yet they do not feel peaceful. Islam teaches balance in every aspect of life. Islam does not teach us to isolate ourselves, but Islam also does not teach us to lose ourselves in pleasing everyone. The life of the Prophet ﷺ is the greatest example of balance. Despite carrying the responsibility of guiding the ummah, he still maintained time for worship, time for family, time for companions, and time for rest. This balance teaches us that even the most important responsibilities should not destroy inner peace. Boundaries are not barriers that push people away. Boundaries are guidelines that protect what is important. They protect your focus from unnecessary distractions. They protect your heart from emotional exhaustion. They protect your time from being consumed without purpose. Without boundaries, even small matters begin to feel heavy because they continue without pause. When a person does not set boundaries, they often feel pressured to respond immediately to everything. A message arrives and they feel they must reply instantly. Someone asks for help and they feel they must say yes immediately. An invitation appears and they feel they must accept even when they feel tired. This constant pressure slowly removes peace from the heart. The mind does not get time to rest. The soul does not get time to breathe. Your body has rights over you, your mind has rights over you, your family has rights over you, your worship has rights over you. When boundaries are missing, these rights begin to suffer. A person may be physically present but mentally distracted. They may be sitting with family but constantly checking their phone. They may be performing salah but their mind is full of unfinished conversations. This scattered state weakens both productivity and spirituality. Many people fear that if they create boundaries, others will misunderstand them. They worry that people will think they are becoming distant or arrogant. But in reality, healthy boundaries create healthier relationships. When people know your limits, they respect your time more. When people understand your priorities, they value your presence more. Boundaries create clarity, and clarity reduces conflict. A person who has no boundaries often becomes emotionally available to everyone's problems. They listen to every complaint, absorb every worry, and carry every burden in their heart. Over time, their own emotional strength becomes weak because they are carrying more than they were meant to carry. Not every problem is your responsibility. Not every situation requires your involvement. Wisdom is knowing when to listen and when to step back. Boundaries also protect your focus. Success in any area of life requires concentration. Whether it is learning, working, building skills, or strengthening faith, deep focus is necessary. But constant interruptions weaken concentration. Every unnecessary distraction breaks your mental flow. Every interruption reduces the quality of your effort. Without boundaries, even simple tasks begin to take longer than necessary because the mind keeps shifting from one thing to another. Creating boundaries does not require harsh behavior. It requires clarity and calmness. You can respond respectfully without always responding immediately. You can help sincerely without helping in every situation. You can attend important gatherings without attending every gathering. Balance allows you to give your best without exhausting yourself. When boundaries exist, your mind becomes more organized. Your priorities become clearer. You begin to recognize which activities bring benefit and which activities only consume time. You begin to notice how much energy was previously spent on unnecessary matters. Slowly, your day becomes more structured and your heart feels lighter. Peace is not only the absence of problems. Peace is the presence of control. When you control how your time is used, you feel more stable. When you decide where your energy is invested, you feel more confident. Boundaries allow you to make conscious choices instead of reacting to every situation automatically. Many people think they will disappoint others by setting boundaries, but often the opposite happens. People begin to see you as more focused, more disciplined, and more reliable. Your words gain more value because you speak with intention. Your presence gains more importance because it is not always available without limit. Boundaries also protect your spiritual connection. Constant distractions weaken reflection. A distracted mind finds it difficult to concentrate in prayer. A crowded schedule leaves little time for self-evaluation. When boundaries protect your time, you are able to create moments of quiet. In quiet moments, the heart becomes calm. In calmness, the connection with Allah becomes stronger. Sometimes people feel guilty when they take time for themselves. They feel that resting means being unproductive. They feel that saying no means being selfish. But rest is necessary for strength. Silence is necessary for clarity. Space is necessary for growth. Even the strongest person requires moments of recovery in order to continue giving their best. When you create healthy boundaries, your kindness becomes more meaningful because it comes from strength, not exhaustion. Your generosity becomes more sincere because it is given with balance. Your relationships become more positive because they are built on respect, not pressure. Protecting your peace is not about avoiding people. It is about avoiding constant disturbance. It is about protecting the calmness that allows you to think clearly, act wisely, and live purposefully. A peaceful heart makes better decisions. A peaceful mind creates better solutions. A peaceful life allows deeper gratitude. Boundaries do not remove kindness from your character. They remove chaos from your life. They help you live intentionally instead of reactively. They allow you to give time to what truly deserves attention. They allow you to grow without constant distraction. When boundaries protect your peace, your energy increases, your patience increases, your focus increases, your emotional stability increases. Life begins to feel more organized, more meaningful, and more balanced. Protect your peace with wisdom. Protect your focus with discipline. Protect your time with clarity. Because a peaceful heart is stronger, more productive, and closer to the purpose for which Allah created it. 4. Seek Allah's approval, not people's approval. My dear brothers and sisters, one of the greatest reasons people become constantly available for everyone is the deep desire to be accepted, appreciated, and liked by others. Human beings naturally want to feel valued. They want to feel included. They want to feel respected. Because of this desire, many people begin adjusting their behavior according to the expectations of others. They begin changing their priorities to satisfy people. They begin sacrificing their comfort in order to avoid disappointing anyone. Slowly, without realizing it, their decisions are no longer guided by purpose. Their decisions are guided by fear. Fear of being misunderstood, fear of being criticized, fear of losing relationships, fear of people becoming upset with them. This fear creates a constant pressure inside the heart. The person feels that they must always say yes. They feel that they must always be present. They feel that they must always explain themselves. But my dear brothers and sisters, no matter how much effort a person makes, it is impossible to satisfy everyone. People have different expectations, different opinions, and different preferences. If you try to please one person, another person may feel unhappy. If you agree with one opinion, another opinion may oppose you. If you constantly adjust yourself according to people's expectations, you will never feel stable because expectations keep changing. Seeking approval from people is like chasing something that keeps moving further away. Even if someone appreciates you today, tomorrow they may criticize you. Even if someone praises you now, later they may disagree with you. If your peace depends on people's approval, your peace will always remain uncertain. Islam teaches us to purify our intentions. Our actions should not be driven by the desire for praise. Our actions should be guided by sincerity. When a person begins seeking the pleasure of Allah instead of the approval of people, a deep calmness enters the heart. Because Allah does not change like people change. Allah does not forget like people forget. Allah does not ignore sincerity. The Prophet ﷺ taught us that actions are judged by intentions. This means the true value of any action is not in how people see it, but in why it is done. When a person helps someone only to receive appreciation, they feel hurt if appreciation is not given. But when a person helps sincerely for the sake of Allah, their heart remains peaceful regardless of people's reactions. Many people exhaust themselves trying to maintain a perfect image in front of others. They worry about what people think. They worry about what people say. They worry about how they appear. This constant worry creates emotional pressure. The mind becomes busy with unnecessary thoughts. Energy is consumed in maintaining approval rather than building real progress. When a person focuses on pleasing Allah, their priorities become clearer. They begin asking themselves whether their actions bring real benefit. They begin asking whether their time is being used in meaningful ways. They begin asking whether their choices bring them closer to their purpose. This clarity removes confusion and reduces unnecessary stress. People's approval is temporary, but Allah's pleasure is lasting. People's opinions change, but Allah's knowledge is complete. People may misunderstand your intentions, but Allah knows what is in your heart. When you understand this deeply, you stop feeling the need to justify yourself to everyone. You stop feeling the need to explain every decision. You stop feeling the need to gain validation from every direction. Living for the approval of people often creates inner conflict. A person may agree outwardly while feeling uncomfortable internally. They may accept requests even when they feel overwhelmed. They may hide their true feelings to avoid criticism. Over time, this conflict weakens confidence and creates emotional exhaustion. But when a person lives with sincerity, their actions become aligned with their values. They become more confident in their decisions. They become less affected by unnecessary criticism. They understand that not everyone needs to approve every choice. They understand that doing what is right is more important than appearing perfect. Seeking Allah's approval also strengthens independence. A person becomes less influenced by social pressure. They become less worried about people's reactions. They become more focused on fulfilling their responsibilities sincerely. This independence brings stability to the heart because it removes the constant need for validation. Sometimes people stay constantly available because they fear being seen as selfish. They fear that saying no will damage their reputation. But reputation built on constant exhaustion is not healthy. A person who tries to please everyone often loses clarity about their own needs. They forget their own limits. They ignore their own priorities. Over time, this leads to burnout. When a person understands that their true worth is known by Allah, they stop measuring their value according to people's opinions. They stop comparing themselves constantly. They stop feeling anxious about every small judgment. Their focus shifts from impressing people to improving themselves. Sincerity simplifies life. When your intention is clear, decisions become easier. When your purpose is clear, distractions lose power. When your direction is clear, doubts reduce. Instead of constantly thinking about how others will react, you begin thinking about whether your actions bring benefit and balance. This mindset also protects emotional stability. Praise does not make you overly proud, and criticism does not make you overly discouraged. You remain steady because your value does not depend on people's changing opinions. Your confidence comes from knowing that sincerity always has value, even if it is not always noticed immediately. When approval from people becomes the main goal, a person may begin compromising their values. They may agree with what they do not believe. They may follow what they do not understand. They may prioritize what brings attention instead of what brings benefit. This leads to confusion and dissatisfaction. But when Allah's pleasure becomes the main goal, values remain firm, decisions become thoughtful, actions become meaningful. A person begins focusing on long-term benefit instead of short-term praise. They begin investing in what truly improves their life instead of what only creates temporary approval. Freedom from people's constant expectations allows space for growth. It allows space for reflection. It allows space for improvement. A person becomes more focused on developing character instead of maintaining appearance. They become more concerned with sincerity instead of popularity. Seeking Allah's approval does not mean ignoring people completely. It means balancing kindness with wisdom. It means helping sincerely without losing direction. It means maintaining good character without becoming dependent on praise. When the heart becomes attached to pleasing Allah, it becomes calmer, it becomes stronger, it becomes more stable. Decisions become more confident because they are not driven by pressure. Actions become more consistent because they are not dependent on recognition. A person who seeks Allah's approval does not feel the need to be everywhere. They do not feel the need to respond to everything. They do not feel the need to satisfy every expectation. They understand that their energy is limited and must be invested wisely. True confidence grows when approval from people is no longer the main goal. True peace grows when validation is no longer necessary for every decision. True strength grows when sincerity becomes more important than popularity. Focus on what truly matters. Focus on what brings benefit. Focus on what brings growth. Focus on what strengthens your relationship with Allah. Because when Allah is pleased with you, the opinions of people become small. When Allah gives peace to your heart, the noise of the world becomes quiet. When your intention becomes sincere, your life becomes lighter. Seek the approval of Allah, and you will find stability that people's opinions can never provide. 5. Less availability increases respect. My dear brothers and sisters, when a person is always available, people slowly begin to assume that this person has no other priorities. They begin to think that your time is always open, your attention is always ready, and your presence is always guaranteed. At first, this may seem like kindness and generosity, but over time, constant availability can unintentionally reduce the level of respect people have for your time. This does not happen because people are intentionally trying to disrespect you, but because human nature begins to adjust according to what it repeatedly experiences. When something becomes constantly available, it slowly loses its sense of importance. When people know they can reach you anytime without limitation, they may not value the effort required to spend time with you. They may postpone responding to you, delay respecting your commitments, or assume that you will always adjust your schedule for them. This pattern gradually weakens the appreciation that should exist in relationships. Respect grows when people understand that your time has structure, your attention has purpose, and your presence has value. When you begin organizing your life with clear priorities, others begin to notice that your time is meaningful. They begin to understand that your presence is not random but intentional. This understanding naturally increases respect because people recognize that spending time with you requires consideration and appreciation. Less availability does not mean distancing yourself from people completely. It means creating balance so that your time is not scattered in every direction. It means deciding where your attention is truly needed and where it is not necessary. When you are not constantly present everywhere, your presence becomes more meaningful where it truly matters. People begin to listen more carefully because your words are not given excessively. People begin to appreciate your time because they understand that it is limited. When a person is always present in every conversation, every gathering, and every situation, their presence becomes ordinary. But when a person chooses carefully where to invest their time, their presence becomes valuable. People become more attentive because they know that your attention is not given without thought. This creates a natural level of respect that does not need to be demanded. Constant availability can sometimes lead to emotional exhaustion. When a person is always reachable, their mind never fully rests. They feel responsible to respond immediately, even when they are tired. They feel pressure to remain present, even when they need quiet. Over time, this pressure weakens patience, reduces focus, and affects emotional balance. A tired mind finds it difficult to maintain calmness, and a tired heart finds it difficult to feel peaceful. Reducing unnecessary availability allows the mind to recover. It allows the heart to slow down. It allows the person to regain clarity. With clarity, decisions become better. With rest, patience becomes stronger. With balance, relationships become healthier because interaction happens with sincerity instead of pressure. When people notice that your time is organized, they become more mindful of how they use it. They begin to communicate more respectfully. They begin to value the opportunity to spend time with you. They become more careful not to waste the moments they receive. This careful attitude increases appreciation because people understand that your presence is not unlimited. Respect is closely connected to how a person treats their own priorities. When you consistently ignore your own needs to fulfill every request, people may assume that your needs are not important. But when you protect your responsibilities and manage your time wisely, others begin to see that your life has direction. Direction naturally creates confidence, and confidence naturally creates respect. Less availability also helps improve communication quality. Instead of frequent and distracted interaction, conversations become more focused and meaningful. Words carry more value because they are not repeated unnecessarily. Attention becomes stronger because the mind is not divided between multiple distractions. This improves understanding and strengthens relationships. Sometimes people believe that reducing availability will cause relationships to weaken, but often the opposite happens. Relationships improve because interaction becomes more sincere. Instead of communicating out of obligation, communication happens with intention. Instead of being present physically but distracted mentally, presence becomes complete and attentive. Being less available also allows you to invest time in personal growth. Growth requires focus, learning, reflection, and effort. Without protected time, growth becomes slow because attention keeps shifting. When you create space for improvement, your abilities increase, your confidence increases, and your stability increases. People naturally respect those who show progress because progress reflects discipline. When a person constantly seeks attention, respect decreases. But when a person focuses on meaningful progress, respect increases naturally. People notice consistency, people notice discipline, people notice balance. These qualities create admiration without the need for constant explanation. Less availability also protects emotional boundaries. It prevents unnecessary involvement in matters that do not require your attention. It allows you to avoid unnecessary conflict. It allows you to remain calm even when situations around you are busy. Emotional balance improves because energy is not being spent in every direction. A person who is not constantly available often becomes more confident in their decisions. They become comfortable prioritizing what truly matters. They do not feel pressured to respond to everything immediately. They understand that not every situation requires instant reaction. This patience improves judgment and reduces mistakes. Respect does not grow through constant presence. Respect grows through meaningful presence. When your time is invested wisely, people recognize its importance. When your attention is focused, people feel valued. When your priorities are clear, people understand your direction. Being less available also reminds people that your life has purpose. It shows that your time is connected to responsibilities, goals, and values. This understanding changes how people approach you. They begin to communicate with more thought. They begin to appreciate your efforts more sincerely. Balance creates dignity. Dignity creates confidence. Confidence creates respect. These qualities develop gradually when a person understands how to protect their time without losing kindness. It is possible to remain humble while maintaining structure. It is possible to remain helpful while maintaining limits. When your availability is balanced, your life becomes more organized, your focus becomes stronger, your energy becomes more stable, your patience becomes deeper. Relationships become healthier because interaction happens with appreciation instead of expectation. True respect is not forced. True respect grows naturally when people observe consistency, clarity, and self-discipline. When your time reflects purpose, your presence reflects value. When your actions reflect balance, your character reflects strength. Less availability does not reduce your importance. It increases your importance because it shows that your life is guided by intention. It shows that your energy is invested wisely. It shows that your presence is meaningful. Protect your time with wisdom. Protect your focus with discipline. Protect your peace with balance. When your availability becomes intentional, respect increases naturally. Because people value what is meaningful, and your time is one of the most meaningful blessings you have been given. My dear brothers and sisters, being kind is part of faith. Helping others is a beautiful quality. Having a soft heart is a blessing. But losing yourself while trying to please everyone is not wisdom. When you are always available, people may not see your value. But when you begin to respect your own time, others begin to respect it as well. Remember, your time is limited, your energy is limited, your life is limited. Every moment you give should have meaning. Every commitment you make should have purpose. Do not feel guilty for protecting your peace. Do not feel afraid to create balance in your life. Not every invitation requires your presence. Not every request requires your immediate response. Not every situation requires your emotional involvement. When your intention is sincere, you do not need to prove your worth to anyone. Allah knows your heart. Allah knows your effort. Allah knows your struggles. The Prophet ﷺ taught us that the believer lives with dignity. A believer does not live to impress people. A believer lives with purpose. Protect your time so that you can invest it in what truly benefits you. Protect your peace so that your heart remains calm. Protect your focus so that your life moves in the right direction. When you stop trying to please everyone, you begin to please the one who truly matters. When Allah becomes enough for you, people's expectations lose their pressure. Choose balance over exhaustion. Choose dignity over approval. Choose peace over pressure. May Allah grant us wisdom in how we spend our time. May Allah protect our hearts from unnecessary stress. May Allah grant us strength to live with dignity and sincerity. Ameen.